Hello, my name is Marilyn Harder. I'm a Pilates instructor and a Pilates master trainer. I am here to do a part 2 series in troubleshooting our roll up and seated roll down. So a few of you have had questions on how to better activate your glutes in that roll up and roll down, and here are my 2 favorite go-tos. So the first one I have is a TheraBand or a circular TheraBand. And the second one I have is a rescue loop, which is a adaptation of the toe corrector from Joseph Pilates' original design. So what these do is they help activate the deep rotators of the hip and our gluteus medius when we press open on them. So if you're using a TheraBand, you can place it around your ankles and press open, or you can take it a little higher for a more deeper concentrated connection just above the knees and press open. And you can even externally rotate against it a bit. So what does this do to your actual roll down? So if you've not watched part 1, I would definitely take a moment and watch part 1 and all the pieces and parts. But for the basic piece of what this does, as you press open, it helps activate. So when we activate our glutes, we get a deeper activation of the core. We never want to hook our feet under something or push them against a table or a wall, something like that, because it's going to overly activate our quads and not engage the hamstrings and the glutes as that counter activation. So I'm going to go ahead and do a roll up here, pressing against the TheraBand. I've activated my hamstrings and my quads the way that I showed you in the first video, glutes and abdominals. I'm going to point through the toes and draw those shoulders back and down. Exhale, I'm going to start to roll through the pelvis, keeping those legs pressed open on the TheraBand, and slowly start to articulate through the spine. Pausing in that hard part, really making sure I'm pushing open and finding those glutes. And then exhale, continue to curl and roll all the way down to the bottom. All right, arms come up and over. I've got that activation laterally onto the TheraBand. Exhale, chest lift up. As I see those toes, I reach them away, diving up and over, and then restacking it up nice and tall. Now, if you're not getting the activation you need within that TheraBand, my next go-to is that rescue loop. I like the toe connector here. Place it on the big toe. So when you do, you can externally rotate just a bit, and as you do, you get a deeper activation. So that rescue loop will help activate in through both sides of the leg. Also activating a little deeper into the deep rotators of the hips. So I'm going to pull it open, try and open my toes so that way they're staying facing against the wall. Arms reach out in front of me, hamstrings, glutes, abs, or hamstrings, quads, abs and glutes, scapular connectors, and upper abdominals at the ribs. And I'm going to slowly start to curl the tailbone under. As I do, you can point through the toes and still keep that activation, and I feel a lot more inner thighs along with those outer glutes, drawing everything in and up, slowly peeling it all the way down to the bottom. Taking a breath there at the bottom, making sure not to pop my ribs. And exhale, chest lift up, still rolling open on that toe corrector and diving it all the way forward before restacking it back up nice and tall. Now, if you happen to have the opposite problem, meaning that you just kind of flail open as your default, and you actually need a little more inner thigh activation instead, you can grab a Pilates ball, place it in between those ankles, and get that nice good squeeze. So let me go ahead and grab that. All right, so now we have our Pilates ball, and we can place that in between the ankles, pointing through the toes, finding that inner thigh connection, hamstrings, glutes, hamstrings, quads, glutes and abdominals, scapular stabilizers, upper abdominals, And now I'm gonna start to curl down. Squeezing that ball, trying not to drag it with me, reaching away in opposition, slowly peeling it all the way down to the bottom. Taking a big inhale in there at the bottom, resetting my scapular stabilizers. Exhale, lever up at the ribs, squeeze that ball, reach it through, dive it all the way over, and then restack it up nice and tall. So there are my 3 bonuses for troubleshooting your roll-up. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I'll see you next time.